that can.
That's not true. That's not true.
Wait, no, it is.
That's completely false.
It's actually true.
All right.
I'll tell you why it's true.
So how would it be?
One second. Let me answer. Yeah. The book is Science and Human Origins. This is written by. These are Christian.
This is a book.
Yes.
Well, no, we want a scientific paper, Suboor, not a book.
Hang on.
Anyone can publish anything in a book. That's not peer review.
Phil.
I want something in a proper journal.
Phil, one second. Sorry,
that's irrelevant.
I'm not dealing with this point. I'm dealing with the earlier point of the Italian ape.
Yeah, I want a reference in a proper peer review journal.
What, the existence of this ape?
And that it was in Italy, and that it's 10 million years old, and that it's bipedal.
Hang on a second.
And I want it in a proper peer review journal, not in a book.
Wait, hang on. Then I have to actually go to the page. Right, carry on.
You need. Right, he can't find it. No surprise.
Well, wait, hang on a second. If I did find it, or if I didn't actually find it, it wouldn't make a difference to my overall argument which I'm actually making, and which you've admitted, that if there is this Italian ape, which is 10 million years old, which is fully bipedal, this is a recalcitrant fact. But this does not, and this reconfirms something I said earlier, this does not falsify human chimp ancestry, because nothing can.
Well, okay, he says nothing can falsify human chimp combination.
Because of methodological naturalism and homology.
Suboor, okay, all right, let me just address that point, right? First off, as we established, it's nothing to do with methodological naturalism, because we could have a perfectly naturalistic explanation for human origins that's nothing to do with evolution. You could be someone that believes in spontaneous creation, and people were. Aristotle believes in spontaneous creation. Many other ancient Greeks, I think it was Anaxagoras, believed in it. Okay, so it's nothing from naturalism that says that humans and chimps have to share a common ancestor, and human and chimps' common ancestry is falsifiable. Of course, any one piece of evidence, has to be taken in the context of all the evidence, right? So it's true that you have to look at all the evidence. Okay, multiple lines of evidence. If you just found one thing, of course, you have to look at the broad picture. Okay. Now,
I'm doing call a friend.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean, we've been going for 2 hours.
No, wait. I need to give you this reference first.
Okay.
It was in Africa, I believe.
Right, okay. Now, the point is, if it were the case that we found that, going back to my original example,
Samro, how you doing? Bro, I need a quick favor. Hello?
The nano P8
I need a quick favor. You know that Italian ape that we were speaking about, which was discovered in southern Italy?
Falsified.
What was it called?
Evolution, right? If we found that humans and chimps,
which was fully bipedal,
their amino acid sequence.
Can you WhatsApp me the name and just WhatsApp me where they like some reference where they discovered it?
That would falsify evolution. If that graph,
I need it ASAP. Kind of debating an atheist right now.
If that graph didn't have that pattern, that would go against human evolution, right?
Okay.
Let me give you another test, right? If humans and chimps share a common ancestor, right, then what we should find is that the genetic diversity in human populations should be highest at the centre of origin. This is called Vavilov's theory. This is widely accepted in genetics. The origin centre is where you have the highest genetic diversity. So if we found, we could look at different ethnicities, Europeans, Eskimos, Native Americans, Aboriginals, whoever. And if evolution is true, sub-Saharan Africans should have the highest genetic diversity. If it turned out that Eskimos had the highest genetic diversity, that would be evidence against human-chimp common ancestry. That would be evidence against human.
Wait.
Right? Now, if
hang on.
Now,
that's a non sequitur.
No, it isn't a
That's a total non sequitur.
How is
You're assuming, and this is a very racist thing, by the way, that East Africa is where you have the great apes, and that's where the black people are.
No, that's where you have the fossils.
Wait, hang on.
It's not racist at all.
It is racist, and I'll tell you why.
How is it racist?
I'll tell you why. Because we do actually have fossils which are also in other parts of Asia, such as China, which could also be interpreted as the beginning of human beings. Now, your argument is a non sequitur.
You're wrong.
Okay.
The oldest hominid fossils are all in East Africa.
You made your point.
They're all in Sub-Saharan Africa. And that's where then we should find the highest genetic diversity.
The oldest fossil of recently that discovered of a human being is actually in Morocco. North
of
Africa.
a human being,
Yes.
that's not what we're talking about.
Yes.
We're talking about the oldest hominid fossils, where Australopithecus is,
Yes.
where Orinid is,
yes,
where all these, there's nothing to do
No,
with
no,
where
but you're assuming
the oldest modern human is. That's just ridiculous.
You're assuming those are human ancestors.
Well, no, if that's where human ancestry is, then we can confirm it with another piece of evidence. That's the point. This is what you completely misunderstand every time.
So
you say, oh, we're just assuming this, we're just assuming this, we're just assuming this.
Okay.
The whole point is the data can confirm or deny the assumptions.
Wait, hang on.
And the data overwhelmingly confirms it.
Okay,
This is the whole point.
Phil, here's the thing. The fossils which are found in East Africa, those fossils, none of them, and here's the point which I'm making, have been proven to be human ancestors. Those fossils. Wait, hang on a second. Every single one of those fossils that's been discovered, those discoveries are based on the assumption of homology, and the assumption which is actually made. And here's the point. Look, I'm going to make an.
We're going to wrap up here. We're going to wrap up because I'm going to go.
Sir, I'm debating one person at a time. I'll speak to you next. Lucy is assumed to be a human chimp ancestor. Is supposed to be our recent sort of, if you like, grandmother, because she was discovered in Africa, and she was supposed to be bipedal. Now, I want you to.
All the evidence says it is bipedal.
Wait, hang on. Why didn't researchers use the ape which is discovered in southern Italy, which is 10 million years old, 7 million years older, as a human chimp ancestor?
You keep quoting this ape, but you haven't given a reference for it.
Okay, wait, it's coming.
given
I actually
nothing.
rang a friend for it. One
I know,
second.
but you've given
I work
nothing,
with some
right?
researchers. Oh wait, it just came in. Good timing. It's called Australopithecus bambuli, and here it is. Journal of Human Evolution. So the point which I was making stands. If you look at any fossil, that fossil you're using that fossil and you're basing it on an assumption of homology, and you're saying that this is a human chimp ancestor. But that assumption is not reconfirmed by you looking at similarities. Because that argument would be like this. That would be like, similarities are due to common descent. Similarities exist, therefore similarities are due to common descent. But that would actually be circular reasoning. Why didn't these researchers use the ape which was discovered in Italy, which was a fully bipedal ape, and use that as a human chimp ancestor? Because Darwin and the people prior to him, they were actually racist, and they wanted to show that the black person is much closer to the other primates than the Caucasian people. So they didn't use the ape in southern Italy, which is 10 million years old, fully bipedal. Rather, they used an ape which was 3 million years old. 3 million years old, which was in southern Africa. And here's the point. When you believe a theory is true, anything is evidence. Darwin believed, and he said this in The Descent of Man, that African people, they actually, some of them, they have feet which are like this, which actually have opposable thumbs, which is why black people are good at climbing trees. Now, any black people here, sir, do you have any relatives in Africa who have feet which are like this? Do you know of any African which has feet like this? Now, why did Darwin describe these Africans who have feet like this? Because he has an idea in his head which he believes to be true, which is his actual theory. So because he believes it to be true, the evidence that he sees, anything could actually be evidence. Also, when Darwin went to South America, he did the same thing with the South Americans, because he believed the white race, the Caucasian race, was the highest. So when he described the Fijian people, he said these were people that used to grunt, they could hardly speak. Yet researchers, when they studied those same people around 30 years before Darwin, they said this is a sophisticated society which have a language of about 30,000 words. So Darwin, he already believed his theory to be true, so anything was actually evidence. Now,
the last point which I want to make is this.
Wait, hang on. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wasn't a racist. The Islamic civilization wasn't racist. You can't say Darwin.
So can you pull that back up? Can you pull that thing back up, please?
For Islamic slavery.
Wait, hang on.
Pull it back up.
Right? Islamic slavery
okay, wait.
started.
No, give it back.
Okay.
Give it back. Give it back.
Okay.
Right, no, I need to respond. Right.
Any fossil which he brings up is the same as the genetic evidence, the same as the anatomical evidence, is still based on the assumption of